This week we're going off to Neverland. We're doing another attraction spotlight, this time Peter Pan's Flight. This is episode 73. I'm Soraya.
I'm Aurora.
And together we're just your average Disney travelers. So we're doing another attraction spotlight. We've been doing a different one every month.
Yeah.
And this time we're going to go to an OG ride. This is one that opened with the parks.
Yep.
Peter Pan's Flight. Quite popular attraction in both Disney World and Disneyland. The things we're going to focus on, like not tips necessarily, but fun facts and information, are going to be about the Disneyland version, since we're working on Disneyland attractions that we're spotlighting. So Peter Pan's Flight, it opened, like I said, with the park on July 17th, 1955, and it is located in the Fantasyland area.
Yep. It is a dark ride, pretty slow. Some places say that there are some small drops, and it's a little loud, but
I don't know.
Because it does dip down, but I wouldn't call it a drop.
That's what I was thinking too. I don't know. I think they're classifying that because there is technically a change in your height, like where you're located. So there's a little bit of dips and stuff. But I guess technically it is a drop. But I've never thought of there being drops.
I don't think it's really a drop because you're not falling.
No. Yeah.
So
yeah,
it is a bit loud.
It can be. Well, I think most attractions, if there's any noise, there's a little bit of. It depends what's loud and what's not loud. I've never felt like it was overwhelmingly loud to me personally. But anyways, it's classified as that, so be aware.
It is 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yep, I think the Disney World version might be a little bit longer, like 30 seconds longer.
Huh. You can have about 2 to 3 people per vehicle, yeah.
I know that it says it'll hold up to 3, and it does. We've put 3 people on there, but I would just keep in mind that third person, you really want to be a small person. When we've had, say 3 adults, it's still too tight.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I would say it's 2 to 3 people.
Yeah. There are no height restrictions, and you must be able to transfer from a wheelchair or an ECV.
Yeah. Like most of the rides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is no lightning lane available.
Sadly. At Disney World, there are lightning lanes, or there is a lightning lane for this attraction, but yeah, Disneyland does not have lightning lanes. And I just don't see how they could add one. They just don't have the space, or they're not set up to have one there. It sure could use it, though, because it's a popular attraction.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so Peter Pan's Flight. This is how you'll read the description on the Disney website. Soar over London aboard an enchanted pirate ship to Neverland with the boy who wouldn't grow up. Join Wendy, Michael, and John on a high-flying adventure, with the help of a little pixie dust, of course, through scenes and songs made famous in Disney's animated film, Peter Pan. Sail past Big Ben and Tower Bridge as London glitters below. Make your descent into the magical world of Neverland, home to volcanic peaks, sparkling waterfalls, lost boys, and mermaids. Swoop into Pirate's Cove and cheer as Peter braves a swashbuckling duel with Captain Hook, while Wendy is forced to walk the plank. Can Peter Pan return his young companion safely to London? Or will someone meet an untimely end in the jaws of a ticking crocodile? Dun dun dun! You'll have to ride the ride to find out. Anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, let's talk about some of the fun facts for the attraction.
This is one of the few remaining original Disneyland rides that was ready in time for opening day.
Yeah, I think there's I always thought that Dumbo was one of the original rides, and it technically is not, because it didn't open for another month because it wasn't ready in time for opening day. But this one was.
Yep. It's a rail-suspended ride, meaning that the ride vehicle you sit in is actually suspended beneath the track. This gives you the feeling of actually flying over the scenes throughout the ride.
Which I think is why they'll say there's a drop, and we say it's more of a dip, because we're not on a track.
Yeah.
You're just hanging from one, and it just
You
doesn't
can't
feel the
have
same.
a drop from a hanging.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel the
Okay.
same as a drop. I mean,
Yeah.
technically, yes, you get lowered down in some, you drop down, but it doesn't feel like a drop. To
Yeah,
me, like,
I don't know.
Use the Disney Parks Play app in this queue to find your happy thoughts and discover interactive fun with Tinkerbell while waiting in line. And
We actually saw
yeah,
some instances.
we've never done it ourselves.
Instances.
Yes, we've seen people. I often see people doing that.
Yeah.
This is one of those queues. It's long. I mean, they're going to have a long wait usually for this ride. It doesn't have the fun interactive queue like Disney World does. So this app kind of creates that for you. It gives you something fun and interactive to do while you're waiting.
In a small space too.
Yeah, everything's So, anyways, be aware if you are going to be waiting in that line, and you're worried about kids being bored or you being bored, pull up that app and do the interactive activity in that queue. It is cute and fun.
Yeah. There's some version of this ride in every Disney park location around the world except for Hong Kong Disneyland.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yep.
Originally, the idea was that as you rode the ride, you were Peter Pan and were seeing things from his point of view. But guests had a hard time understanding that, so when the ride opened in Magic Kingdom in 1971, they added Peter Pan to the scenes. And when Disneyland's Fantasyland had the massive renovation in 1983, Peter Pan was added to the scenes in this ride as well.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. And I guess if you think about it,
I wasn't alive when that happened, so.
Okay. Yes, you're right.
I never realized that too.
No, if you think about it, like if you were to go, when you go on the ride, as I'm kind of going through it in my head right now, I'm imagining the scenes without Peter Pan in them and thinking about it being Peter Pan going through those scenes. And I guess that makes sense. Like technically, because even though it starts in the bedroom with Wendy, Michael, and John, I mean, the movie, that's Peter Pan that's where, when you follow the storyline, it starts there. And so I guess even then, yeah, you could see how that would go. But I do like it with Peter Pan. I think it's fun to see the main character that the attraction's about, and kind of feel like you're watching the scenes play out instead with the full scene, including them. Because Peter Pan wasn't an observer in this movie; he was a participant. He was like, how do you do the scene of him fighting Captain Hook without you seeing him fight? You know what I mean? It would be, so, anyways, yeah, I think that it's good that they made the addition. I think it makes it a more fun ride to view, having Peter Pan in it.
Yeah. When that Fantasyland renovation happened in 1983, a pirate ship restaurant, which used to be where Dumbo is now, was demolished. The riggings, lanterns, and props from that restaurant were added to Peter Pan's flight.
I think that's cool.
Yeah.
That they kept a part of that. I was there before that was taken down, but I don't really have memories of it because I was really young. But apparently that restaurant had like an outdoor seating area, and it had Skull Rock, and I think like a waterfall or something. Wow. Yeah, it sounds like it was really cool. In a way, I feel a little sad that that's not there, because that would be pretty awesome.
Oh yeah.
I think I would rather see that restaurant than it used to be Pinocchio's Village House, but now it's the Red Rose Tavern, I think.
They changed it?
Well, it was supposed to be a temporary change when the Beauty and the Beast live action came out, and I think it's still the Red Rose Tavern. I should check, and I haven't paid attention since it reopened after COVID, if it went back to Pinocchio Village House, but I think it's Red Rose Tavern. I'm pretty sure it still is. And even though I like that restaurant, we've eaten there a few times, and we'll eat there again. I just like the idea of the pirate restaurant. Although, you see, if they didn't already have Blue Bayou, that would be fun over by Pirates of the Caribbean too.
Yeah.
But anyways, it sounds like it was in the area. It's too bad they couldn't keep it. You have to have some things go away to expand and grow, and obviously they needed to have room for more things, and so it makes sense. And it's cool that they were able to keep some things. I like how Disney, when they ever change stuff or take things away, they often
like to have like little things to
like pay tribute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the stuff they had to get rid of.
Just
or
about
old, even just ideas.
Yeah, just about every attraction that has had to be removed and changed. Almost all of them, you'll see, and they're not obvious. They're ones that you have to kind of know to look for them, and they're going to be in places that are not easy to spot, but you can almost always find something in there that is a nod or a tribute to the attraction that went away in order to make that new attraction possible.
Yeah.
Which is fun. I think that's cool. Okay. So, in 2015, the ride received additional updates, which included lighting and special effects that I appreciate. That's why I always talk about how I just think that the visuals in this attraction at Disneyland, I prefer to the attraction at Disney World. And I do have to admit, we need to go back. What we need is a Disneyland trip and a Disney World trip practically back to back, so it's super fresh memories and I can go from one to the other and compare easily, because it's so hard when it's been even just several months between visits sometimes.
Yeah. It's like Disney World, the ride itself, it doesn't look good, but the queue is amazing.
And I wouldn't say it doesn't look good. I think maybe it doesn't look as good.
Sorry, I meant as good.
Yeah.
Did I say it just doesn't
Yeah.
look good?
Yeah.
Sorry, I meant it doesn't look as good.
The queue is amazing, you're right, at Disney World. If you're used to the Disney World queue of Peter Pan's flight, do not go with that expectation to the Disneyland queue, because it's just
nothing.
not. Yeah, you're literally just in a winding, queue line back and forth outside half the time. And then when you're inside, it's still it's just right along where the ride loads.
Oh,
There's not you're not going into any houses where you've got pictures on the wall and
you
interactive.
You don't shadows.
Yeah, shadows to play with and all of that. So, but you're right. Yeah, for sure, the queue is better over there. But the additions that they made in 2015 to the Disneyland version, the lighting inside, like the LED lights they use and everything, I just think it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I love, especially when you're going over London, and it's just, I love that update. I wish that it was a little bit longer.
Yeah. In Wendy, John, and Michael's bedroom, on the floor there are some letter blocks that spell out Disney. They change from time to time, sometimes using numbers in place of letters, sometimes being stacked on top of one another instead of being one single level line.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those that you have to look quick to see it. It's easy to miss. But yeah, that's just kind of a fun little... I like it when Disney will do kind of cute little creative things to just kind of add into the rides and stuff.
Yeah.
So the ride uses forced perspective to make it look like you're much higher than you really are, which they do for all throughout the parks.
Yeah, everything.
Almost everywhere is using some forced perspective, and especially in Disneyland, because Disneyland doesn't have as much space, and they are right in the middle of a city, so that they have to abide by different codes and things. But you might be surprised to find out, if you've been on this ride, the highest point you've ever really been at is 17 feet. It just feels like you're higher sometimes because of that forced perspective. Also, another thing to be aware of for this ride or this attraction is that the fireworks, when they have fireworks at Disneyland, pretty much all of Fantasyland, everything behind that castle, it shuts down. So this attraction does close during fireworks. It closes for I don't remember how long beforehand, and then it'll stay closed for a little bit after the fireworks are over. And what's really cool is when you go back there after the fireworks, like everything's sprayed down, just because for safety precautions and things. And so it's all nice and fresh and clean again. If you want to, it can be a good time to get back in line for this attraction right after fireworks. However, really, a lot of people think that. And so a lot of people rush there afterwards. And so it doesn't last very long. Pretty quickly, the line will get long again. But then again, we've talked so many times.
How families will be leaving.
Yeah. And so once that rush dies down, then you start to see it die off again the closer you get to the park closing.
Yeah.
But this attraction, man, the lines are long. And that would be our tip. Is just that the lines do get long quickly. The wait time on the app is usually at or below what the actual wait time is, so it's usually overinflated. It's not usually overinflated. It's, if anything, it's underinflated. I don't know if that's a word. But so if it says it's 35 minutes, chances are it's at least 35 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think part of that's because the line can grow so quickly that when people see it low, people rush there and then it jumps up before it's actually registered on the app. And so it might not be that the app isn't accurate, it's just it hasn't quite caught up to it. You got online at the end of that rush or something, and it ends up being more like 45 minutes.
You should try getting in line when it's longer.
And see if then it's underrated.
Yeah.
Or overinflated and under less. Yeah, maybe, but then do we really want to get into a line that is like an hour long just to test it?
We'll let someone else.
Yeah, so if you get on the ride, if you get in a line that says on the app it's anything over 45 minutes, will you tell us how much your wait time really is? Because we just simply don't get in the line when it's that long.
Yeah.
And so we don't know. Maybe it does get overinflated at times when it says it's longer. I don't know. All I know is that whenever it's been shorter, like I said, usually 35 minutes or less, we'll start to get the idea of, oh yeah, let's get in that line. And I don't think it's ever been less than what we've been set on the app. I don't think it's ever been less. It's always been at least that amount of time. But yeah, it's so just be aware of that. This is one that you may want to rope drop, although again, a lot of people do. And so you really want to make sure if you're rope dropping this attraction to be at the front, try to be there before the park opens. Don't just be there when it opens. Be there before so that you're all the way down in the hub, ready to go straight through the castle to get there, in order to be able to get on fairly quickly. But rope dropping, going right after fireworks and right after close are usually the best times. Otherwise, just keep an eye on the app and be aware that this is not going to be an overinflated wait time. Don't go expecting just because, say, for instance, we've talked about Pirates and Thunder Mountain and others that are often frequently overinflated. Don't expect this one to be, because we haven't seen it overinflated yet.
Yeah.
Not to say it can't happen, but we haven't experienced it. So, Aurora, do you have any favorite memories or experiences? Nope. None?
I mean, at the Disney World one, like, with the shadows in the queue.
Yeah.
But I don't remember it too much. I just remember, like, they had, like, the little shadow butterflies and they landed on, like, your hand shadow.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's funny that you mentioned that, because that is one of my favorite memories, too, from this attraction. It's really the Disney World queue line. And it is that one spot. Like, the whole nursery there is really cool to look at, and you can watch things happening. But you get to that point with the butterflies, and that is the one spot we had a hard time taking you away from. It was like, you loved staying there. We're like, the line is moving. We have to keep going. And you just wanted to stay there and play with the butterflies landing on your hand and stuff. Other than that, I would say just simply favorite experiences or things. I remember the first time I saw people playing with the app, the interactive queue in that for that attraction on the app, thinking that was such a great idea, and it was fun to watch because it was my first time noticing the stuff as well. I didn't even pull up the app. I was just hearing the people around me like, what are they looking for? And then I would start looking for it, and I was like, oh, I never even noticed that before. And so that was pretty cool. And then seeing there's one part that is especially magical. I don't want to give anything away, so that if people do end up using that app, that I don't spoil anything, but there's one part that's a little bit extra magical in that interactive game, and seeing that again for the first time was just like,
at Disney World?
Disneyland.
Oh, Disneyland.
That's
okay.
The Disneyland queue, since it's not as awesome as Disney World, has this interactive activity on the Play app, and just that first time seeing that happen was pretty cool. Otherwise, I just really love the upgrades that they did there, and every time I've gone on that attraction since 2015, I'm always impressed with it, and I just wish this is one of those rides that ideally I would actually love to do over and over again, but that will never happen because this attraction has never got a short line like that allow you to do it over and over again, where you just get to stay on.
Yeah.
Unlike the Little Mermaid that I get to do sometimes, or anyways, yeah. So this makes for a little bit of a shorter episode. I don't think there's anything more to add, really.
Not really.
No. But if you go to Disney World or Disneyland, either one, or Disneyland or Disney World, you'll have to tell us what you think. It's a fun attraction. It's cute. I hope it never gets taken away because to me it's a classic, and obviously it's a favorite of many people. I'm not really sure why it's so dang popular.
I don't know either.
Because it is rather short. It's very cute and nice. Maybe because I think really it's because of all of the dark rides, it's the least scary. Although now Snow White's, I think, rivals that at Disneyland. They've made Snow White less scary than it used to be. Although it still has the witch scene. And so maybe still Peter Pan would probably be the least scary dark ride at Disneyland. And maybe that's why it's so popular. But I don't know. Tell us why you think. Why is it, if it's one of your favorites, why it's one of your favorites. And I wish that was information that you could just look up and find, but it's such an objective thing that I don't think there is a real reason why. So it'd be hard to find. But anyhow, thank you for listening, and we will chat with you next week.
See you.